And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 74, and I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. And of course, I'm joined by my returning um, podcast panel and also one of our new co hosts, Scott, aka Phil B.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome back, man. Great to have you on the show permanently now. Unfortunately, we don't have Roger this week due to not feeling well once again. So hopefully he feels better here soon so we can get us three onto a show together. That's always great. But yeah, man, let's dive into it really quick here. What we've been playing over the past, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks since we haven't had an episode in that long. So what have you been playing?
I've been playing the same old. It's been a busy past few weeks with the holidays and things like that. Of course, the New Year's resolution is trying to get to bed earlier, read
Mm-hmm.
things like that. It hasn't given me much time to really sit here and do a lot of that. But hopefully, coming up, I'll be playing a bunch more and be able to get into it with you guys about some of the things we've been playing. Right now, I'm still back on the Warzone, the occasional drop in. And just finished up my rerun of my Skyrim as always, and then of
Mm-hmm.
course classic one near and dear to my heart, the original Fable Lost Chapters, on my PC with that as well.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I've actually never played a Fable game, and definitely it's on my backlog to eventually get to. I know we do have that new Fable game right around the corner coming out for Xbox, so hopefully I'll be able to hop into that with no issues there. But me personally, though, over the past couple weeks, I played and beat Unravel. For those who check me out on my stream, have witnessed that. I've recently started Batman Arkham City since I beat Asylum last year. The next one in line is City, so I've been playing that, streaming that. So make sure everybody come check me out with that. I think I'm pretty much towards like halfway or 3/4 of the way done with the game already. It's actually much shorter than I anticipated, for sure. But overall, it's been a really fun game. Have you checked out the Batman series before?
I haven't since I want to say Arkham Knight.
Okay, that would
I
have been
haven't
the third
really.
one
That
after.
was the third one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I haven't really done much since then. Never really was one that really tickled my fancy.
Mm-hmm.
But they do look good, and I know a lot of my friends that have been playing them, and they've really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to finish this one up and eventually get to Night later on in the
mm,
year. But another game I actually just started last night was this game called Road 96, and it's I'm still trying to grasp what the idea of the game is. But like you're this like teenager who's traveling across the country to get to this border, and I guess like it's like this huge thing that teenagers are doing, and I guess like the country is like kind of on like turmoil and like corrupted, and it's like kind of like a procedurally generated world as well as you're traveling. Like each part, like you can decide whether you're going to be hitchhiking, riding a bus, riding a cab, or just walking. And then like obviously depending on your choices, your stamina, your food levels go down, and then like once you reach certain locations, then you can either like buy stuff, get food, get drinks, but then you can also play games to earn money, or you can steal money. And then you have like the interactions with all the different people in the world, and they'll kind of give you like some insights, or you can like piss somebody off or make them like you and stuff like that. Like off rip in the beginning, I was driving a car, like drinking and driving, speeding, and the cop pulled me over, and then like this person like drove by us and like rammed into us and started shooting, and like took off, and the cop hopped in my car because her car was totaled, and like we started chasing them, and then like at the end she was just like, "Yeah, I'll just like let you go before all the other cops like get here, just like get out of here, like thanks for helping me out and stuff like that," and like you end up with like her badge, and like apparently that's going to come in like down the road to be able to use it and like get away with stuff. So I was like, yo, this is pretty interesting.
it seems like a pretty fun one.
Yeah,
I
it's
might
on
have to
Game
check
Pass
that
too,
one out.
so definitely check it out.
Nice, nice.
Other games, obviously, I've been playing Modern Warfare 2. In regards to that, I did step down from the official Shoot to Win's Call of Duty team as their starter, just because I wanted to focus more on content. Because I'm still their lead writer and their content creation lead, so I got to be able to put out more content. I just wasn't able to focus in on that as much as I wanted to. And with my new work schedule, it kind of took more time away from me being able to game, so I had to cut back on something. And I wanted to cut back on Call of Duty. I'm way more invested in playing through single player games, having fun, be able to bounce around and not have that time restriction. But I am still one of their substitutes. So I'm still part of the team, just not as invested. So that's been fun. We've been playing Overwatch 2 here and there, a couple more games, and I'll officially be able to play ranked. So I'm really excited to be able to hop into that. And of course, been playing through Vampire Survivors. Have you checked out this game yet?
I've been reading about it and I want to check it
You got
out.
to.
And I've heard great things. And then I think what had caught my eye about it was there was an article for it about them releasing it free because they couldn't find somebody that wouldn't have basically just gouged for pricing and things like that. So they ended up
hmm
I think on mobile, I believe it was.
Yeah, it ended up being on mobile.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, and they put it out. They put it out free, and I saw that, and I started looking into it. I was like, oh, it got the nod last year at 2022,
hmm
uh, and things like that. I was like, that actually looks pretty sweet. So that, I think I might be adding that to the list as well to see what's going on and see what we get with that.
Yeah,
See how I feel
it's a
about it.
really fun game. You can kill a lot of time with it. But it's just so much into it, and like kind of like there's so much to discover. It kind of doesn't tell you what you need to do and stuff like that. You kind of just unlock stuff. They give you like an unlocked section. And you kind of go through like, oh, survive 20 minutes with this person, or combine this item with this item, and then it kind of just starts to build and build, and like you'll eventually start to unlock more stuff, and the story starts to progress too. So it's a lot of
Nice.
fun. Other game that I've checked out here is Need for Speed Unbound. I've been playing that here and there. Don't stream it, but because it's really I'm playing the trial. I didn't buy the game yet, so because I have Game Pass Ultimate, it comes with EA Play. You get 10 hours of it, so I've been just playing it through that, and it just feels like a classic Need for Speed game. Yeah,
Love it.
it's fun. So overall, that's what I've been playing. So let's move on to the first I guess week of game releases. Nothing too crazy here. I think there's really only one per se one big game. I would say maybe two. But first off, we're going to start here. Are any of these games here on the list? Because I know you got the list pulled up here. Any of them here that stand out to you?
So the two that did the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, if that's
Mm-hmm.
the next gen release, the DLC that's gonna be coming with that with Bardock, love that storyline. Been a huge Dragon Ball Z fan since I was a kid.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell from if you could see up there in the corner that one Vegeta Pride sticker, the Pride poster. I got my Goku Hope one here. Um, but that definitely stuck out. Those are always fun to play.
Mm,
I remember playing back in the original Budokai, the Budokai 2. Like it was just a good time. But the one that did stick out to me the most is the One Piece Odyssey,
yep.
the JRPG, the turn base, stuff like that. I think that's with I've seen some of the shots from it and things like that. Uh, I mean, it's gonna play like a JRPG. It's gonna be, I mean, One Piece has a huge fan base,
Yeah.
massive, and I definitely gonna check that one out. Super awesome, and stoked on that one. There is another game that I'm really looking forward to coming up here in the next couple releases, but I think we'll be saving that one for a later segment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say those two are probably the two big ones for this week's releases. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot comes out on next gen Xbox Series S and X and the PS5 on January 13th, and then One Piece Odyssey is also next gen along with PS4, Xbox One, and PC, also on the January 13th. So on that day, you got two big, like more of like Japanese um, games, I would say. But the other ones here that we got here on the list is Children of Silent Town, coming to basically all platforms, including the Switch on the 11th. Also on the 11th is Kart Rider Drift, coming to PC and mobile on the 11th. And then on the 12th, we got Lone Ruin or Rune, Switch and PC on the 12th. And then we got Vengeful Guardian, Moonrider, PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC on the 12th. So, nothing too crazy this week, just those two that we really just covered there real quick. But yeah, man, let's move on to our gaming news, or not gaming news. Getting ahead of myself here. We got our industry news here first. Couple interesting stories. We're gonna kick it off with some PlayStation news. Death Stranding. Have you checked out this game yet? Have you played the?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I'm cautiously optimistic of the film adaptation.
Yeah.
Uh, and trying to see what's gonna be, what they can do with it. It'll be sweet. It was a good game.
hmm
Um, I want to see. I mean, are we gonna be getting Daryl Dixon in there? What's
Right. That'd
going
be it'd be
on?
interesting to see him
Like,
in the.
I mean, it'd be a classic move for them to recast and get somebody completely different.
Yeah, that'd be
Uh,
weird.
so yeah, so waiting to see what they do with that. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah,
So
I've never played Death Stranding. I have it, and it's also on Game Pass for PC. Interesting enough, because this was a PlayStation exclusive, but now it's
mhm.
on Xbox Game Pass, but only for the PC. It's not on console, which is little bit weird, but yeah, the film is that's getting a film adaptation. It's going to be in collaboration between Kojima Productions and Hammerstone Studios, and it's being led by Alex L- Lobovecki. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that too bad, but yeah, I'm curious to see how this will play out because obviously the memes with Death Stranding, it's a walking sim, but it does have like that ties to the kind of what has happened in real life, and then like it has like a horror kind of feel to it, maybe more like more suspense and stuff. So I'm really curious to see how they can flip this into a game, or I mean a movie. And but they did just recently announce Death Stranding 2 at the Game Awards. So I wonder if there's going to be like, is this going to be a bridge in between games? Like what's going on here?
Are they gonna look out to different media to kind of keep continuation of the story until they hit Death Stranding 2
Hmm.
and see where we go from there?
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to follow. Also, in regards to PlayStation, this one when they first announced it a while back was Gran Turismo was getting a movie, and I was just like, how can you really make it like it's like making a movie about NASCAR? That's the way I look at it. Like, what are you possibly going to do? But the little trailer that we got, like sneak peek trailer, just kind of was behind the scenes, and it just showed the race and I guess some drama going on with the racers and the drivers. So I'm just like, yeah, though that's the only thing you really could do with Gran Turismo. But we did get an official release date for the film coming out this year on August 11th. Is this going to be a must see movie for you?
I'm gonna see it because I'm really interested to see how they do it, how they play it out. Like you said, it's you gotta make a. I mean, you could make a couple NASCAR movies, but when it's a game set like this, that's just it's all about the cars. There's nothing else there. I want to see what they throw in there, and that'd be.
Right.
I think I definitely gonna see it to at least say that I gave it a shot.
Yeah, I feel like another comparison is like if they made a movie about Microsoft Flight Sim. Like,
Yeah.
like what? It's just a simulation.
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
not starring Tom Hanks or Denzel Washington.
Right. But interesting news in regards to the PlayStation World. Sony, on the other hand, here had some news from the CES this week, teaming up with Honda to announce a new electric car brand known as Ophelia. So let me see if I can get it pulled up here on screen. But what's your thoughts on electric cars right now?
We're hopeful. I think we still got a while before they become the vehicle, the majority. There's still, I mean, a lot of, I mean, the price points, the lithium, the mining for the batteries. I remember hearing a while back that they were actually going to start looking at like basically scraping the seafloor for some of the materials, which seems a lot more invasive uh,
Yeah.
than maybe just a drill in a pipeline. But it's if we can get there and it becomes something that we can actually do and not just transfer the oil waste in production, and if we can do it without just transferring where it comes from, then I think it'll be good. I mean, a lot of
Right.
these things they get powered. Where's that power come from? The power comes from fossil fuels. It's just they took the blame off of the driver's conscience
Yeah.
because they don't see it, so they don't think it's there. Um, but if we can fully get away from that, then I think that's going to be a much better idea for practicality. Yeah.
And as you guys can see here on screen, this is the prototype car that they did announce the for the new electric car, and it looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. I'm just curious to see if like the news that we were covering about a month ago now at this point that all of these cars will have a built-in PS5. So I'm really curious to see if that is going to be a thing still. I mean, because it makes sense. Because we were talking about it with Tesla, how Tesla now includes Steam built into the all Teslas. So because like when you're charging the car, it usually takes 30 minutes plus. So now it gives you time to kill some time while you're sitting there waiting for your car to charge. So we'll see. But overall, electric cars I think is the future. I think it's better than to get away from the whole gas cars. That's just my personal opinion. But it'll just be an interesting story to keep covering.
Right.
Moving on here, what else we got here in the grand scheme of things? We got some more meta news. Nothing too crazy, but one of the prolific computer programmer and co-founder of id Software, which is known for like Quake and Doom back in the day. John Carmack is now stepping down from a role from Meta because he's unhappy. He's unhappy with the way things are currently going on in Meta and just how, like, honestly, we see it. We see how bad Facebook, it's aka Facebook, is going. Like, Metaverse is kind of flopping pretty big already. No one's really on board with it. What's your take
Yeah.
on this?
I do not care about Meta at all. Watching aspects of Meta fail kind of gives me life. Um, and to have somebody like John Carmack, I think he was quoted saying, "When you see something so grossly inefficient, it's it basically hurts you." So to see him step back and be like, "This is so poorly ran."
Yeah.
I mean, if that's exactly what he was talking about, to see him say that it's just so grossly inefficient, he had to walk away.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't care about Meta. It's okay with me. I'm kind of air high fiving myself a little bit. I obviously feel bad for the people that are passionate about Meta and the people that are pouring their days, their weeks, and their lives into this, and having all of these issues.
Right.
But it's one of those things that nobody asked for, nobody wanted, but it's just kind of got shoved into us, and uh, yeah. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have much to go off with Meta. It's just I've actively kept that off my radar for the most part.
Yeah.
Uh, just because it just I don't want it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I always joke about it. I was like, are we getting closer and closer to the movie Ready Player One? Like that
See,
when they were announcing this, I was like,
yeah,
that's where we're going. But like what we got so far is pretty lackluster.
yeah, we're not getting the Oasis anytime soon.
That'd
It's
be
not
pretty nice.
happening.
Um, but on to some even bigger, crazier news here that we kind of all saw coming, though, in a way. In regards to Epic Games, they are now being fined over $500 million due to Fortnite's unfair microtransaction practices, and it makes sense. Basically, this alludes to the fact that the they were abusing children. Children would see this wonderful skin on there, and they were just buying it. There were like no like barriers to purchase at all, and boom, instantly bought, and just running up and just not allowing, and it was just costing parents millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, and the way that they did it is they basically almost made it like an epic wow drop. Is like the percentage chance was so small.
Hmm.
This I think is a huge win for the consumer.
Yeah.
And definitely, I mean, is it awesome that Epic Games getting nailed $500 million? No. Is it great to set a precedent and be like, you can't do that shit?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it's great.
100%.
But 500 million to them, that's a slow Tuesday
Yeah.
for them.
And well, I mean, when Fortnite and the Pokemon crossover happens, I mean, they'll make that up in about 20 minutes.
Right, right. Which I'm really excited to show the trailer to everybody who has not seen that yet. We'll show it here in a little bit. But I did just talk about just accidentally said the word Microsoft here. But this one I thought was pretty cool because I know you're a big Elder Scrolls fan. But they did announce a Elder Scrolls Netflix series is apparently in development. Well, is this something that you would like to see? Is there enough lore in the Elder Scrolls to
Oh,
make a show?
100%. 100% enough lore. I mean, it goes deep. Really, really hoping for that Lusty Argonian maid episode. That one's a shout out for all the nerds that just realized how kind of screwed up I am. But once again, very cautiously optimistic because this one is a lot closer to the chest
Hmm.
for me, I think. And I think my big question is this going to be before Elder Scrolls 6 or is this going
Right.
to be after?
Right, yeah, that was definitely going to be my next question to you is does this come out before or after Elder Scrolls 6? Because we both know Elder Scrolls 6 is pretty far away from coming
I
out, and
know.
we got
And
at least 6 plus years, I think.
yeah, and I was rolling through and I saw some quotes from Todd Howard, who I mean still owes me at least a Christmas card. I bought Skyrim for literally everything.
He
I
bought it
bought
12
that game. I,
times.
I bought that game like 7 or 8 times, no joke. Like it was like just last year I was still playing Skyrim Vanilla on the Switch. Uh, but Yeah, I saw him quoted saying, "Oh, it's gonna last decades. It's gonna be, almost eternal." And I was like, "At least hope so. That'll give you guys at least a 20-year window where you can start working on seven,
Right.
because that's what it takes."
Right, and plus all the other side projects. Because after Elder Scrolls 6, we're getting Fallout 5 or whatever numbers
Yep.
next, whatever number they decide to throw on after
Yep.
that, and then if Starfield's a huge hit, where does Starfield 2 come into play, or whatever
Hmm.
spinoff or whatever they want to do there? So like
Yeah.
there's a lot of content that it
It's their curse. It's their curse. That's what you get for putting out great games and then just not elaborating and leaving for 12 years.
yeah, and everyone's like, oh, where's the new game? But to round off our industry news, of course, we got our weekly coverage of the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, and this is actually some good news. Another country has now approved it. Chile has approved the authorization of this deal, and they're actually to this. I actually forgot to add this to the bullet point here. Microsoft and Activision Blizzard are considering to not even take in FTC or the UK's Federal Commission like decisions into this. They're just gonna be like, we're just gonna roll with it and forget about them. We're not even gonna worry about it because like almost half the world has already approved this transaction.
Yeah, I think when they said that the FTC was unconstitutional,
Yeah,
and then immediately kind of backpedaled a little
yeah, they
bit.
were like, whoa, whoa.
They're like, well, maybe a little bit. Yeah, no, they've it's been kind of crazy watching this whole thing unfold.
Yeah.
So excited to see kind of how
Hopefully, we get
see
a
what
decision
happens.
before the June before June. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I think the FTC has until March to make their final decision, but again, it just depends if they want to just move forward with the deal, with or without them. So we'll definitely see how that plans out. Of course, if you guys want to stay tuned, just make sure you check out every week's podcast. But now onto our gaming news. We got a decent amount of stuff here. We're going to start off pretty big. We don't normally do this, but I wanted to start off big because it's fresh news. We're going to hit you guys with some PlayStation news. I'm not a huge PlayStation fan. Do I want the PS5 eventually? Yes, for their exclusive games, just because I'm an avid gamer. But overall, this is some solid news that we got this week. Over the past couple weeks. First off, PlayStation Plus games for January. You got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, phenomenal game, sequel right around the corner. Fallout 76, which we were just talking about. Fallout 76 is probably one of their less successful games, but it's free on Xbox if you have Game Pass. And then last but not least, you got Axiom Verge 2. Never heard of it, but these are your free games. Go download them, add them to your collection. Um, but none the least, we got Returnal. Obviously, we knew that was a huge success for the PS5 when that first came out, but their PC port is coming out this year. With that, they recommend you having 32 gigabytes of RAM. That is a lot of fucking RAM. Most people don't have 32 gigabytes of RAM. And to put it into perspective, that's more than Microsoft Flight Simulator, Elden Ring, and Cyberpunk 2077, which are much more high demanding games than Returnal is. So I'm really confused. I'm really baffled at this.
So it really depends on how they're utilizing the RAM. So I have 64.
Okay.
Because I when I bought my motherboard, I paid for 4 slots, so I'm using four
Hey, I
slots.
have 4 slots. I need to add two more.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
16 right now.
That's as far as recommended. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It makes me kind of wonder what they had to do to get the PC port to work
Right.
to recommend that much buffer space.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean, I guess they're probably banking on a lot of PC gamers having a lot more than that. I mean, I know plenty that do. I know plenty that only have 32. I know
Hmm.
some that only have 16. Um, but it's I thought it was maybe like maybe a typo or something like that. And then I was looking at it and I was like, how did they get this to work? That is a
Right.
lot of buffer. That is a lot of buffer space
Right.
that they're recommending. Now? Did you see anything about required?
Nah.
Is there a minimum requirement? Um, because everybody recommends a little bit
Right.
higher. I mean, they're probably recommending 6900 XTs and top of the line everything. But I'd be more curious to see what the minimum's gonna be. That's where you're really gonna get your evidence of uh of what just what they had to do
Yeah,
to
minimum is
get this
16.
to work. Minimum 16, which
Hmm.
is still yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
even the graphics card, like it says minimum graphics card NVIDIA GeForce the 1060 or the AMD Radeon RX 580. So like
Great card.
I couldn't even run this game with my PC because I have the NVIDIA GeForce 960. I have the card before that, and it's crazy because like Modern Warfare 2 can run on my 960 without any issues.
Mhm.
Now streaming and playing the game, that's where I'm running into issues, but that makes sense. But the fact that this game is demanding so much, it makes me wonder, like, because obviously they created that new sector of Sony or PlayStation for porting games from console to PC. Like, are their processes like not as attuned to it? Like, are they not optimizing it the best possible way? Are they not getting the correct resources or the best resources? Like, what's going on here? Like, is this going to be a continuation to all of their future PlayStation games that get ported over?
And once again, I mean, that's just gonna maybe seeing this and seeing the the recommended 32 gigs, the required 16, 60 gig solid state recommended. I mean, obviously though at that
Yeah,
point, maybe it'll give them, maybe it's just a game that they didn't have a choice.
yeah.
I mean, that could also very be plausible. And if they port and they work through, maybe this is just the one that sticks out and the anomaly. But I guess we'll have to wait and see when when more ports are happening and
Hmm.
what really ends up being the ultimate requirement.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to cover the rest of the year. But some more PlayStation news, just another some more news from CES, because CES was basically all last week, and PlayStation was there pretty heavily, to be honest. And some more Gran Turismo news. Gran Turismo 7 is being added to the PSVR 2 lineup and will be available at launch. So that's pretty cool to see that one of their top of the line racing titles come into their virtual reality headset. But on top of on top of that game, there's also going to be 30 launch titles released with the PSVR 2 as well. So I mean, seems like they're going to have a pretty solid lineup. But I don't feel like the market's really there for the VR yet. I don't even think they're going to get 1.5 million units sold off in the beginning.
Yeah, I could see it having a pretty small launch, just because a lot of people aren't really ready for the VR, or a lot of people are ready and just can't.
Right.
I mean, there's still a lot of people that have issues with motion sickness and stuff like that. Who,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go and they buy VR, they buy Oculus, they buy it, and then they can only play it for 15 minutes at a time, uh, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think this. I mean, I think it'll take off a little bit. Gran Turismo's gonna help.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even just I mean, I would, if I had the PlayStation and I was still playing the Gran Turismo series and going through and doing that, yeah, I would definitely do it just to be in VR racing the cars.
Right.
Um, yeah, and I mean things like we're seeing the launch titles. It's a big amount of launch titles for it.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends on what kind of games that they put out with it. I mean, we're seeing Beat Saber, which will be cool.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people love that. So 1.5 million, maybe after enough time has passed.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. What they apparently they produce like at least 2 million units because they're expecting to sell 2 million like first day sales. But like to put into perspective, for the PSVR one to reach 2 million units, I think it took like over a year to sell. So like I just don't see it. And like you said, like it's people not being able to because you got to remember to be able to play the PSVR 2, you also have to have a PS5. So now that's $1,000 investment that you're making plus buying games, or if you're going to play free ones. I think Beat Saber's free, but um like that's a lot of money. Most people don't have that, and we're dealing with like an economic crisis right now too. So I don't know, man. I think that's kind of steep. But they did announce there that they did sell 30 million PS5s since launch. So there are a lot of PS5s already out there. So, but how many of those 30 million consumers are going to go, "Hey, I want a PSVR 2"? That's going
yeah,
to be the real question.
and I think that upfront price point might turn some people away from it. Now, if they maybe they kick out bundle packs or something like that,
Hmm.
to handle that. I think the 2 million production is definitely a little more optimistic. Um, I mean, we ain't getting no more stimmy checks, things like that. Especially with the price of, with just the overall inflation and things that with that we've all been dealing with as consumers. I think the combined price point, and then if things are included, if it's even anything somebody wanted, now they got to go out and buy games for it.
Right.
And I think that initial price point might be one of the hard no's for a lot of people.
Hmm.
But I think over time, as they work on bringing that down and more people get into it, I know a lot of people that love the PSVR.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people that absolutely love it. Um, and hopefully that return customer is gonna go get it, and it'll just be, hey, just like when the new PS5 drops, you know.
Right.
But I mean, only time will really be able to tell on that.
Yeah,
And
for
then,
sure.
yeah, it definitely could be a catalyst into the VR future,
Yeah, could
for a
be.
lot of the gaming.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely watching that one with anticipation.
Yeah. Other news there at CES for PlayStation, they did announce Project Leonard, which is their accessibility controller kit for the PS5, and I'm gonna bring it up here on screen for you guys. It's pretty interesting. It seems like a day late and a dollar short, but at least they arrived. Because Xbox already had theirs. Nintendo, I think, already has theirs with like their cardboard thing, and of course, the accessibility to play on PC is almost endless there. But this controller here looks really interesting, and I'm curious to see how it actually works. You can buy one or two, and then you can also play it in conjunction with the controller itself. So I'm guessing like maybe you'll be able to hold like the controller and use the thumbsticks, but then like use your feet, like if your fingers are like not working or something like that, to hit the other buttons. Like like there's probably tons of possibilities here, but nonetheless it's pretty cool because I love being able to bring more accessibility to gamers around the world that struggle with unfortunate disabilities.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely, like you said, it's definitely late, definitely short, but can't be more happy enough that it's here.
Yeah, and as you can
Yeah,
see
there's
here, like you can pull it apart and rearrange the buttons and triggers and all kind of stuff. So, and
yeah.
it has four 3.5 millimeter auxiliary ports. So then you'll be able to add like third party accessories to it as well, kind of like how Microsoft did theirs.
Mhm.
So it'll be pretty cool.
No, I think it's an amazing project. I think it's great that it's out now, and I think that it's definitely going to help a lot of people get to play the games that they wanted to play but haven't been able to. I'm a huge proponent of accessibility, and it's definitely always good to see somebody making headway and getting out there and being able to do that for a lot of the people that just can't.
Right.
uh, and they bring that person into the world and allows them to play the games that they want to. And I think that any step towards accessibility is always remarkable and always definitely well deserved and wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And it just goes on to add on to kind of what they've been doing with the games themselves. Like God of War Ragnarok was known for the countless accessibility features it has built in. And same thing with Horizon Forbidden West. So it just kind of, they're building towards it. They got their games going towards it. Now they got a controller that's going to go hand in hand with those settings, and it's just going to work. So it's good to be able to bring the entire community together. But let's move on though from PlayStation here. We got aforementioned Fortnite crossover with Pokemon. I actually just saw this. I put the whole itinerary together. It came across my feed. I was like, I gotta add it, just because like I love Pokemon. The fact that they announced that we're in the last season of Ash Ketchum's anime with a new one starting with brand new characters. No more Ash Ketchum, but like here we are. I'm gonna bring up the trailer on screen for you folks. And I was just like, damn, shit's crazy.
Goosebumps.
But it's like, man, like Fortnite has anything and everything in the damn game.
It almost begs the question, like, what won't they milk?
Right,
Who won't they collaborate with?
right. Like this is the
Yeah,
metaverse.
yeah. I can't wait to see, like, Sargento cheese power-ups. Uh things like just like
Incredible.
Danimals potions. Gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I
But no, it was really cool. I can't wait to see how they do that. It was awesome when they brought Dragon Ball Z into it. and I think that they're definitely hitting a lot of people in the fields with this. Uh, Timing couldn't be better. I mean, now what's Ash gonna do? He's
Right.
gonna go play some. He's gonna go fight in some battle royales. He's
Yeah, he's in
bored.
Fortnite now.
Yeah, he's bored. He's out.
Yeah, that'd be funny if that's how the last episode of the anime ended. He like Butterfree comes back, say like picks him up, rides on the back, and then they land on the island here. Like, what's this? What's this magical world? Oh, it's Fortnite.
They get knocked over by the bus,
Like, wait a minute.
and they just like, wait, well, I
They
guess we
see it
gotta
flying
play.
in the sky and they think it's Ho Ho. Like, remember when you seen him in like one of the first episodes? They're like, is that Ho Ho again? Oh, wait a minute, that's the bus.
Still pulls out his Pokedex. It's just like, what the hell?
This is unidentified Pokemon. But yeah, man, that's pretty cool to see. But moving on to our next game here, Hitman. Hitman, we know, has been a very successful franchise overall. We know Hitman 3 came out, I think, 2 years ago now, and that was a really phenomenal game. It was in early runners for Game of the Year, but obviously that got pushed away once the rest of the games came out. But Hitman 3 is being renamed to Hitman World of Assassination, and basically what they're doing is combining Hitman 1, 2, and 3 into one huge collection. And that's pretty awesome. The only down part is that it's not going to include Hitman 2's expansion pass or any of its DLC. So I was just like, so it combined the game, but then it forgot about that stuff. So like, do you still have to buy that extra DLC pass? Like, I feel like that was kind of like a fuck up on that part. What's your thoughts?
I I loved the Hitman series. As far as the DLC things like that, I think they threw one and two in there as kind of like a nostalgia ride.
Hmm.
Here's where we were. Here's where we're at now. Great to keep continuing that franchise. Um, Other than that, I mean, as far as the DLC, if they're not including it, it kind of makes you wonder why.
Yeah.
But maybe there's just things they had to get rid of to get that to fit, depending on the size and what they're doing. I still think it's great they're adding them because you can do an entire replay
Right.
with well included in that bundle, and just go from there. Kind of pick up the story
Hmm.
from the previous ones. If I mean, see how they handle it. But no, definitely gonna be a fun one. Looking forward to seeing how that comes out and gets received
Right.
at the end of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's awesome though, like this is already currently on Game Pass, so anybody who wants to check this out, go check it out. But this hasn't officially been combined into one. All of the games like Hitman 1, 2, and 3 are on Game Pass, but the consolidation of them goes live on January 26th, so just here in a couple of weeks,
Yeah, it's like their little Hitman Master Chief collection.
pretty much.
See how it goes.
Interesting enough. But next up, this one here kind of sparks some interest because I know me and you are both big Star Wars fans, and this is a classic game, Dark Forces from back in the day. It's a classic shooter, and it's getting a 4K overhaul, and this was being made to a fan remaster, and boy, does it look good. Have you checked
Yeah.
this out yet?
Yes, and I can't say it can't come soon enough. Uh, Absolutely pumped for that. I want to see just what they're doing. If they're going off the fan remake, it's going to be outstanding. The 4K overhaul is going to be great. Definitely excited for this. Um, it's I at this point, like seeing that and seeing the 4K, seeing it come out off the fan remake, um, ecstatic. Because it also is, it's one of those. It's nice to see people see. It's nice to see companies who see their fans
Yeah.
and see. I mean, I hope he's working there, or I hope he's at least working somewhere with that skill. And it's nice to see that. Okay, cool. A fan redid this, or a fan remade this. And they brought it. They're like, absolutely, that's really cool. We're gonna go forward with it. I had the same feelings about like Skywind uh, and some of the remakes that people were doing with different engines for like Morrowind and Oblivion. But yeah, like going from this OG like Doom, this OG Doom feeling,
Hmm.
um, and then coming out and getting the remake and going from there is it's gonna be great. Seeing it nice and crisp.
Yeah. Well, this right here is the 4K gameplay.
Yeah,
So basically, it just instead of it looking so pixelated, it's like real smooth, real clean. Some of the animation, like look at even the design of the stormtroopers, like they almost look like they're from the movie instead of
Yeah.
looking like a cartoon or something.
Yeah, versus the old, what was it, 16 bit
16-bit
look?
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And seeing this is just like super fun.
yeah, and interesting enough,
Uh,
like it's being kind of built on the same original engine. It's just like a modified, rewritten version of it.
mm.
So the guy, like, or whoever it is, went in there and like redid the entire engine, so then they can redo this game. So I've actually never played it, Dark Forces, so I'm really curious to go in here and maybe give this a try when this is fully released. But yeah, man, that game looks pretty cool.
Good.
Really
It's
excited for that
good.
one. Next up here, some more exciting news, honestly, especially for Xbox. The game Sifu, which came out early last year for PlayStation, this was an exclusive. It is finally coming to Xbox and Steam on the PC in March, and I'm really excited because honestly, when I was talking to people, like, "Well, what are you going to play when you get a PS5?" And I was like, "Well, I really want a PS5 so I can play like Returnal." And I was like, Sifu, obviously the Horizon game, God of War, but it was just like I mentioned Sifu. Now I don't even have to have a PS5 to play Sifu. I just play it right on my Xbox. And I'm really hoping that this game comes to Game Pass because I think that would be such a perfect like collaboration there. Like it'd be the perfect game for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it's gonna be great coming out and getting people to get on that the old beat 'em up style
Hmm.
sort of thing. When I was pulling that up earlier, I did also notice that there was a very interesting link in their Wikipedia page,
Oh yeah.
which is when I click on it, it's a film adaptation.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so December 2022, Story Kitchen announced a partnership with Slow Clap, which is the French studio that made this, to make a live action feature film adaptation.
Gotcha. I do think I
Uh,
remember reading something about that, but yeah, that's crazy just to see another small game getting a big movie or TV show adaptation. Because we know the game It Takes Two, that the indie game that won Game of the Year 2 years ago now, that's getting a movie adaptation as well. So it's awesome to see this, honestly. But next up here on our list, we got Risk of Rain Returns. This is I guess, a new game. I'm not huge on the Risk of Rain, but I know some of our community follows this. But new game arrives on Steam and Nintendo Switch in 2023, so that's something to look forward to. So, any Risk of Rain fans out there, go check it out when it arrives this year. We'll keep you updated with any official release date or information. Are you a Risk of Rain fan?
I have not played, and this was kind of like one of those things that like it didn't catch my eye at first. I was like, oh, I wonder what that is, and I started looking more into it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun. Looks great. I think this the 2023 resolution for me getting to play a whole bunch of new games is I'm already starting to
Right,
uh
right.
stack that list. But obviously I'm gonna have to stop and go back and see what they got there. But when I was looking it up, it looks great. It looks awesome. Uh,
Yeah, I got
love
the
that.
trailer pulled up for
Yeah,
those. This was the announcement trailer from about 3 weeks ago, so I think this came out like a couple of days after our last episode of the year, so we weren't able to cover this until now. But I mean, seems pretty cool. It has like that anime kind of feel.
yeah.
It
I got some Mad Samurai Jack vibes
Yeah,
when I when I pulled that up.
so that'll be fun to give it a try once that comes out. I've never played it, but I'm open to play new games, give them a try. But yeah, that definitely pretty cool. But to end out our gaming news, of course, we saved the best for last year. Everybody knows that I'm a huge Xbox fan, so we had to cover some Xbox news. We're gonna hit you with the bad news first. Games will go January. We got two more bad games came out. Iris Fall, which is available all month long, but then we also got Autonauts available January 16th through February 15th. So hey, they're part of your subscription. Go download them, add them to your collection. Next up, this one actually kind of surprised me. I knew that they had an announcement coming, but I didn't think it would be this. But Gears of War is getting a physical card game, and it's coming out this year, and it's being made by the prestigious Steam Forged Games. So, is this the perfect time to come out with a Gears of War card game? I feel like this would have been nice in like 2020, 2021, when card games were like at its peak, but now we're on
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean,
downward slope.
why not? I mean, why not
Yeah.
at that point? Steam Forge. I mean, I think you can't go wrong there. And they're hoping for some of the residual that happened after a lot of people got introduced to the card games and going from there. Uh, uh, I'm interested to see how they wanna pan that out. Especially now since a lot of original like TCGs, um, well, I say a lot. I know of a few. They've moved to the digital realm.
Right.
You've got Magic the Gathering, that's digital,
Yep.
you can play. I
Pokemon.
mean, Pokemon, you got Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters,
Hmm.
Duel Links, things like that. Yeah, actually, whenever I go down to my game store down here, and I look at their new, like they always give out the two-player starter decks, and they're just nice to like collect cards and just see if people want to casual. They always come with a digital code. I can get that
Yep.
deck.
Yep.
So maybe they'll go that way. Maybe we'll see a mobile app for it. Maybe we'll see something that people can play digitally and then just kind of collect their cards
Yeah.
and go from there. But yeah, I mean, I guess my overall feeling is why not?
Yeah. I'm curious to see it. I mean, Gears of War is a
Yeah,
perfect franchise, and I'm pretty sure they have tons of lore and characters and just so much to pick from that they can make something solid. But on the other side of Xbox, with their other pillar of games here, Halo Infinite, this was some interesting news here. They banned a Forge player for putting weed in their map, and this is because it violated an Xbox community standards. And but the ban was like no warning, just kind of bam, you're banned for 3 months, and like couldn't play single player, couldn't play offline, nothing because it's an always online game. And the guy appealed it, and the suspension was lifted. But it just goes to show, like, gotta be careful what you do. But it was interesting that they targeted over weed. Where think about it, in the real world, like weed is becoming decriminalized. Weed is becoming less of a bad thing. And then as soon as someone makes weed on a Halo map, they're like, no, 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 you're not allowed to play this game. Like, come on,
yeah.
dude.
I think it's kind of like you said, a little weird. I mean, there's community standards. I mean, you gotta follow them. Uh, but at the same time, when you get into like things like Forge, I mean, it's a player creation. That's not
Right.
that's not Microsoft. Um, that's not the publisher. That's not them. And maybe just to, like an understanding, like, hey, you're kind of getting outside of the realm here. You're gonna get into some stuff that people have made, and people make weird shit. I mean, did he need to put that there? No, probably not. But you know what? Why not?
Right.
That's what
Right.
Ford is. I mean, Ford just kind of dick around. But glad to see it was lifted after the appeal. The no notice, not historically not awesome.
Right.
And then cutting out the single player, cutting complete just like uh excommunication sort of deal that they gave him.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, don't put weed in your maps.
Now we learn, right?
Yeah.
And then other news in regards to Xbox games, obviously Deathloop is owned by Xbox, and apparently there's some more Deathloop on the way, and that's been teased by the voice actor. Says that Bethesda is still hiring them, so I'm wondering, like, is this DLC for Deathloop? Because Deathloop just came to Xbox September 22nd of last year, and granted it's been out for an entire year because it was on PlayStation before that, so it's still a relatively new game. But are we getting a sequel? Is it time for the sequel?
With the timing, I want to lean more towards DLC.
Hmm.
But I mean, if they're planning to release a sequel, like I mean, if they're following their normal sequel schedule, they're probably hiring people now for a sequel that's going to come out probably, I want to say maybe like 2028, 2029.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to look up here because it's being made by Arcane Studios, so they made Dishonored 1 and 2,
Yep.
and I'm trying
Yeah.
to think out when their release dates were. So Dishonored 1 was October 9th, 2012, and then let's and then Dishonored 2 was November 11th, 2016. So about a 4 year gap in between games. So I'm curious to see, like, this. I'm probably with you. I'm thinking I would lean more towards DLC for sure. Like maybe one solid DLC, like story mode DLC. That'd be interesting. Or
Something
even,
to take the edge off,
yeah.
so so
But
they can kick out a sequel
yeah. Maybe
after Elder Scrolls.
right. Well, this is made by a different part of Bethesda, so we don't got to worry about that.
No,
This is
yeah,
from Arcane
not
Studios,
ZeniMax. Yeah, it's Arcane.
so we're
I
good
just
there.
I just like ripping at Bethesda every chance I get. It's yeah. I wake up in the morning and I just fuck Todd Howard,
Fucking
and I
Bethesda.
just fucking Bethesda, man.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. It's actually I've never played Deathloop yet. It is on my my list of games to beat this year, so I'm really looking forward to playing that one. But last but not least here for Xbox news, this was probably the only big Xbox news from CES that I really saw. But they have a controller being made by Asus, and this controller has a built-in OLED display. So I'm gonna get it pulled up here real quick for you guys. Um, here, those are the show notes, so we don't want. All right, sorry about that, folks. I had some technical difficulties here. Nothing new here kicking off the year, but yeah, that controller pretty interesting. I do like the D-pad that we were just talking about there. Um, but yeah, man, what's your thoughts on the controller?
I mean, once again, I've become primarily PC. I like that they're gonna be hitting with the USB-C, or they're gonna be hitting that low latency, the 2.4 gigahertz, and then Bluetooth mode. Looks sick.
Mm-hmm.
Looks cool. I know there's still plenty of PC players that prefer a controller. Um,
That's
and
me.
just that customizable OLED, um, is just it's pretty cool. I mean, it's one of those things. Just add more personality to your area, to what you play. And I mean, the D-pad does look sick. Reminds me of the what was it, the old Pro after Mortal Kombat came out. Uh, Kind of
Uh,
going that way a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first like remake from Mortal Kombat, back on the 360, I think it
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
Uh, where it was kind of like that, but you could pull it out and it actually gave you your full D-pad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, it looks sweet. As long as it's not, strobe light in my face, I think we'll be okay.
For sure. But yeah, man, that's all of our gaming news that we got this week. But let's round it out here with our gaming leaks and rumors. Just a couple here. Assassin's Creed Jade was apparently leaked online via on Reddit under the gaming leaks and rumors subreddit. And you got 3 minutes of gameplay, which I'm not obviously going to show here. Don't want to get in trouble. But with the footage that we did see, there was some parkour, some combat, and the locations were some of the ancient China inspired locations. So this game could be promising, but this is the mobile Assassin's Creed game that is coming out. So am I going to check it out? Maybe, probably leaning towards no, just because I don't really do much mobile gaming.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a bathroom conqueror.
Yeah, right,
Uh, in the same vein as like COD Mobile,
right.
and things like that.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think the bigger question is like, was it actually leaked, or is it kind of like a slow marketing scheme?
Yep, yep.
Kind of that little guerrilla marketing campaign they got, and they can test the waters and test the hype, and if nobody wants it, like, oh yeah, that was a joke, guys, didn't mean that. That was
Yeah.
supposed to come out. That was supposed to come out April 1st. Just kidding. But then they'll be like, yeah, that's kind of what we do. Just that
Right.
little sneaky marketing there.
Yeah, and Ubisoft is pretty known for that, honestly, with the whole
Hmm.
leaks, but it's really just accidental marketing. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, I'm really excited for the next Assassin's Creed Mirage, which comes out this year. But whatever's after that, who knows what we're gonna get. But
Black Flag remake.
no, please don't. I hated that one. Um, but next up here on our list here in our leaks and rumors, Metroid Prime could be announced soon, according to some leaks that came out over the past couple of weeks. And I was just like, this is what we need, honestly. I mean, Metroid Prime has been waiting for that big announcement. Obviously, we got Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread or whatever that game is that we got last year, and people were like, "Well, that was fun, but where's Metroid Prime? Like, we want the next iteration of that." So people were definitely wanting it. So I think right now would be a perfect time for that. But for Nintendo, though, man, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of Kingdom is reportedly their last significant Switch release in the works for some time. So Metroid Prime may get an announcement, but it may not come out anytime soon.
And that's the one that I was waiting to talk about. I when you sent me this, I looked for it and I was like, what are we looking? What do we see? What we got
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom. We do. Oh man, I'm ready. Uh, Although like Breath of the Wild, it was phenomenal. Looked great, everything like that. It didn't. It's not one to like push gaming, things like that. But with that, I loved that game. I fell in love with it. I couldn't get enough of it. So fun.
Yeah.
Got the DLC, the Champion Trials, everything like that. and I was waiting to see what they're gonna be doing next.
Hmm.
Um, and this, I'm so ready. We got like we got like 2 months,
Yeah,
something
comes
like
out
that,
March. Yeah, yeah, March.
and that will be on this screen until it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was getting a little bit of heat, um, where some people were complaining that it kind of takes Zelda and puts her back in that sort of damsel in distress
Hmm.
role. But I mean, we'll really have to wait and see
Yeah, for
how the
sure.
storyline comes out and what they do.
Yeah, actually, I've never played Breath of the Wild. I have it. I bought it when it was like on It was like on a crazy sale at Best Buy for like $20 or something. So I snagged it. But it's a game that I eventually do have to get to, whether it's this year or next, because I know that game's gonna take a little bit of time to get through for sure.
So oddly enough, it took me so long because I wanted to get as much as I could before I faced Ganon.
Hmm.
Uh, Realistically, you could sneak in and see Ganon almost at any given time as long as you know how to play the game.
Okay.
Uh, and it took me so long. I think if you just went through your four beasts and then ran into Ganon, you'd give it a week, maybe a week of like 2 or 3 hour sessions if you're really pushing it.
Yeah, it
But
looks
there's
like
so much to explore.
yeah, according to howlongtobeat.com, Breath of the Wild main story is about 50 hours, but if you do main story plus a little bit of extra stuff, you're looking at 98 hours.
Yeah,
Completionist takes about 189, so you're probably closer to that.
I was much closer to that. I think I had maybe a half a dozen shrines left.
Okay.
And then the reason it takes so damn long is all those Korok seeds.
Okay.
You get, yeah, the seeds for that you work through and you purchase, but those are like they're like built-in intentional Easter eggs that you have to find,
Okay.
things like that. You get your seeds, and then, of course, as you purchase, upgrades like it costs more, things like that, and then you got all of your different armors you can work through, and then upgrading your armors and stuff like that. 50 hours sounds about right. Um, yeah, I could see the 50 hours if you went through. Um, if you
Hmm.
push it. I mean, I don't remember thinking that the full content would take that long.
Okay.
Um, but then again, that's my personal opinion, and I played it when it came out, and that was a while back. I'm getting old. Memory's probably not what it used to be. Uh, but I will for sure probably play it again and let you know.
For sure.
Get
Um,
ready for years.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially since that's like right around the corner here. But yeah, man, that's all of our leaks and rumors, and basically everything we got to cover this week. We didn't have too much to go on, just to given that it's kind of a slow season. But now we're starting to get in the mix of things. We're going to start seeing some bigger releases, more announcements that are coming maybe later on in the year or even next year. So definitely excited for this year of gaming. But we definitely want to thank everyone who did check us out live today on Twitch, and everyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But Scott, where can the viewers find you at?
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on my Xbox gamer tag and my BattleNet. All of them. Scoby1. Just as you see down here on the gamer tag, Twitch, Facebook, Scout Roby. And then if you're doing the BattleNet at anything like or Blizzard, anything like that, it's the Scoby1 11780.
11780. Perfect. And of course, everyone, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _ Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. If you want a game party out, hit me up there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, you want to come on the show, make sure you shoot me a message on there. And of course, I'm streaming over on my Twitch at twitch.tv / Mr. Never Chillin. That's where I'm playing through single player games, my competitive games, so anything like that. Make sure you come on through, drop a follow, or subscribe to me. Appreciate any love and support I'll get there. But that's it this week, and we want to appreciate everyone again. But until next time, peace.
See you guys later.